Hello, welcome back to Meet Up Speak Up. Now, I put up several documents and I'm about to show the documentations of them documents audio that you hear. Now, I'm going to start from the bond on the 10th or the 15th of 2012 and what the actual bond said. I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you also that bond did not include my gun. I'm also going to show you document from document and show you actually, I'm going to illustrate the documents to show you actually what documents was presented to me and what documents, basically at that point in time I didn't get no documents at all, but I'm going to show you the documents presented from Judge Patterson, which is the bond. Okay, and you hear me on the video question him about the bond, and I stated to him, why are you giving me a $5,000 bond without any evidence? Where's the evidence? How can you give a $5,000 bond? See, because it's a law, and we're talking about the state of Michigan. And the law basically says you cannot do excessive amount of bonds, okay, on a case when a case is not being proven. Now, at this point in time, I have passports, I have legal license, I am a business person, I am attending the Oakland County Community College, getting ready to graduate. I am an activist, and I don't believe at that point in time, because I filed for delegate in 2014, but I still stayed in Warren, Macomb County. This is happening in Oakland County. And I'm basically an activist, a prominent person of the community and of the business community. I'm also a student. I also had passport. Filed for my passport a long time ago. I've been driving in the state of Michigan when I first took my driver's ed test at the age of 16. Took my actual road test with the Secretary of State at the age of 18. Received my license and good, excellent driving record. I have had no major crime incidents, you could say. That means accidents. You would see, if you pull my record, the only accident I had was the person hit me, and they was at fault. And you would see that I'm an excellent driver, has always been since 2000, not 2000, but since 1993, something like that. Okay, excellent record. Never had a problem with anything besides, if it comes to a matter with the civil system, I would sue. So when this judge states that I might have warrants and I might have this and none of that was true. But what he was trying to do, and I'm going to show you in documentations of what they did during 2014, was they were setting me up when they incarcerated me for court contempt. What he was doing is stopping me from doing a civil suit against him or the court or Hazel Park. And second of all, he was trying to make me violate his date that he had set up for me to come back to circuit court. Me to come back to district court. Now, this was particularly what happened in 2014. I'm going to kind of breeze this in, and then I'm going to show you the documents on Thursday. He brought me into court in 2014, and this is because it's new and it's 2014, and the state of Michigan do not have a limitation on falsified documents. And this is what I'm going after now. Because the other thing I'm hoping the courts of administration of Lansing see all this documents and bring charges against the court. But what I'm going back after is in 2014, they brought me back to court saying that I had missed a no-show and I was positive on drugs and some testing. Okay. Now, basically, they have to give you the information on what you was basically supposed to be no-show on. Okay. I've never received a document saying I have to show back up in court besides that contempt or I violated anything. But when he brought me back in court for that contempt, that's what he claimed on the record. Now, on the record means when the transcript or audio is being recorded. He's on the record saying this. Now, what he tried to do, and I kind of looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. You're going to put me in jail for contempt that I never did. You charged me with not or being late on paying court fees. And I will show you the document where they claimed as court fees, and the court fees on that behalf was them holding my gun. They charged me $500 for to hold my gun and $500 for my holster. Okay? So approximately altogether, the money hungry court received $3,150 from me. Okay? Although I did no accident, hit nothing, did anything. They was talking about because of the victims, and I was the victim. I was actually the victim. So I'm paying for the victim, but it's me. So, and all these little charges, I'm going to show you what the charges is. And the charges for the court fees was a PSI, OWI, and my gun, holster, and the victim. Okay? So that's what the charges was for the paid court. And I'm going to show you how he incarcerated me for 10 days, redid a document and sent it in to the Oakland County Jail. And the bond document states it's got a circle, a square around his court. Okay? That's indicating to the Oakland County Jail is that I'm sending it to you. This is not ratified as being legal, but I'm sending this to you. And then underneath of it, it has all these substances checked off. Now remember what I said I was brought back in court for. I was brought back in court because I supposed to have late court fees. So when he discussed this bond with me, he said, well, I can not let you go to jail if you sign this bond. But this will restrict your license. And only I can give you the restriction of when and where you can drive. I'm thinking to myself, and I'm not saying this out loud, I'm thinking to myself, this, and excuse my French, asshole is crazy. This is a fruitcake we got sitting on a judge bench. This is a nut. But I'm saying to myself, um, don't, don't, don't go off. Don't, don't go off. And I looked at him and I said, I'm not signing it. I'm not signing it. Show me the violations. Show me in documentation the things you are claiming that I violated. Show me the documentations of a probation. Show me the documentations of where I'm supposed to be paying a court fee and I didn't pay it. Show me the documentations. I'm not signing it. And he kept repeating himself. Oh, you're not going to sign it? No. You're not going to sign it? And me? No. Him? You're not going to sign it? Me? No. And he sent me to jail for 10 days. But before he sent me to jail, he stated that in district court, I had to be back there by 11 of 2014. I believe that was September the 11th of 2014. If I'm not mistaken, I have the document. And he sent me to jail August the 26th. Yeah, that's correct. August the 26th. Okay, now, that was a day before that Friday, so it was a day before the weekend. Okay? Now remember, it's 10 days that he fined me in jail for a late payment of court charges. When the charges was paid in full, I'll show you that document. And August only goes to the 30th month. Okay? It might be different this year, but in 2014 it went to the 30th month. And I had to be back there, or if I wasn't back there, listen very carefully, if I wasn't back there by September the 11th, I would have breached the court date. So I would have a bond put out for my arrest. With him knowing that he gave me 10 days and forced me to go to Oakland County Jail. Now you got to count in the weekends. Okay? Although I'm serving time on the weekend, you got to also count in the weekend. Because he said 11. But I'm going to tell you what took place. See, because on September the 11th, I had a court lawsuit against them in the Oakland County Circuit Court. So during the 11th, now I was incarcerated all the way up until then, because I think because of the weekends, they subside. That's not the 10 actual, I believe, days. This is how they recruited this. This is how they put this together. Okay, me being really not understanding or unfamiliar with the criminal proceedings. I'm like, oh, I don't believe this. What is going on? So that means if I violated the date that I'm supposed to be back there, he'll put a bench warrant on for my arrest. You get it? Now, when you're listening to him say, It depends on if she has any warrants for her arrest. If you listen to the tape. So we're going to go back over this when we talk about the plea agreement videotape. Audio, if you listen very careful, you will hear him say, oh, well, I got to check this over. I got to see if the person who's coming after the gun is reliable in his license. And I got to make sure that she has no warrants out for her arrest. Or no warrants out for her. You got to really understand and listen to retaliation. Now, during the 2014, when he recharged me, when he called me back to court for contempt, and recharged me because the late fees of the court, which was paid in full, and sent me to jail for 10 days on a contempt, which a contempt never rose. I've never seen the document of contempt. But he recharged me over on charges of OWI. And then added the gun. Because we wasn't finished in court. I was still trying to get them into circuit court in 2014. So, what took place is that I kept signing these little documents. They have these little paper documents where you can request why you here, what's the charges, and request that your legal rights has been violated. So I put this document, I'll show you that document. I have a little pencil they give you in this jail, and I'm trying to write with this little pencil on the paper. I don't know why I'm here. He said I was contempt, late court fees. I have documentation stating that I paid all these court fees, $3,150. I'm basically putting this down on this paper, sending it to a supervisor so I can get some kind of help. So I had a court date coming up in the circuit court on September 11th. And this can be verified by just looking up the circuit court in Oakland County. Telegraph court system. Jacqueline Sprouse. Now, I persuaded the guard that if I had appointment by law, which is true, I didn't really have to persuade him. I'm trying to tell him. By law, if you have a court date set in another court, they must grant you that court date. They can't keep you from that court date although you locked up. Okay? That means that if I had charges in another court or something, and you say, hey, look, it's mandatory because it's under the state law that you must be taken to that other court date. So I persuaded the chief sergeant that I had a court date, and I said, all you had to do is call over and confirm it. So the chief sergeant got on the phone and called over, and they said, yes, Ms. Sprouse do have a civil case on September 11th. So what time is she supposed to? She's supposed to be there at, I believe it was 10 a.m. And I was so grateful. I was like, oh, good. So I'll try to tell this judge that they got me incarcerated for no reason and try to stop me from the lawsuit. Did it work out like that? No. So, but it did get me to go to the court. So they took me to the court. And this court case, I will show you the documentation. It was under Cynthia, and I have the documentation. I will show you the judge who it was under. That particular day, remember, now you got to remember, I am suing the Hazel Park District Court for false incrimination. They incriminated me on charges that was false. So I get over to court. Guess who's there? Before I got there, prosecutor Janet Drum. So you knew, because I served all the documents correctly. So I knew. Okay, you didn't know, but I knew that the documents were served and we're supposed to be in that court on September 11th. She obviously knew that too because she received the documents. She was there before they even brought me from the other jail, Oakland County lockup, to the Circuit Court, which is in the same premises, 1200 Telegraph. So they bring me over to the court, and I'm standing there. I'm like, Your Honor, I have a lawsuit. They have just falsely again incarcerated me. I have a lawsuit against this Hazel Park for false imprisonment, and my case is due today. I haven't been able to contact a lawyer or anyone because they have me incarcerated for late fees. So the judge looks at me and says, "Oh, are you sure it's in this court?" I say, Your Honor, I've made several documents and I put the several documents in. You yourself approved it. She said, "Oh, okay." So she goes through her file and then she's asked the prosecutor, well, why is she incarcerated? Listen very careful. Why is she incarcerated? To the prosecutor, Janet Drum, of the 43rd District Court. She asked that question to her. This was her answer. Well, Your Honor, I don't know. You know that judge do whatever he want to do. Now I'm talking in a hillbilly style because that's how she talk. Well, Your Honor, I don't know. You know that judge do whatever he want to do. She's here on contempt. Contempt of what? I don't know. You got to ask the judge. I've never heard such simpleton, such abuse of authority in my whole entire life. And I'm standing there like, oh my God, oh. And I'm just amazed. It just blew my mind. What simpleton that was standing in front of me claiming to be a prosecutor. And then we proceed on. Well, you here today for a civil suit, and your civil suit, I don't have the documents. That's the judge. I don't have the documents. I said, well, Your Honor, I found your documents and you signed your documents. Matter of fact, I had to do an amendment because I also wanted to subpoena the police officer, the probation chief, and the attorney who represented me. And she went, well, I don't have the documents in front of me, and why are you here, Prosecutor Drum? Well, I'm just here because I had an order to come here. Somebody sent me documents to come to this court for a civil suit. This is her. This is a prosecutor. And I'm like, and this is all on video. Then she tells the judge, which I'm not going to say because I have the transcript kind of video of it, but she tells the prosecutor, well, you have to give me a reason why she's here because you the prosecutor. And I'm saying this in my own words. She actually didn't kind of say, but that's what she was basically asking her. Why is she here? Because you're the prosecutor. What? And she kept referring it back to the judge. And I'm like, my head was so pounding It's like, I don't believe this is actually presenting in front of people that was sitting in the court. Attorneys, people who was arguing other cases. This was actually happening in the public eye, and no one was saying one word. We had attorneys sitting in that court. And I'm like, I had no, it was like, this is amazing. This is dysfunctional to the bottom of the barrel. So then she says, well, Your Honor, she has a $25,000 contempt bond on her, so she can't be released. Yes. The judge from the 43rd District Court put me in contempt and also put a bond on my head of $25,000 by putting in a documentation saying that I had violated a show cause under substance and alcohol and drugs. Now, when it says substance, I don't know what that is. You know, it could be stages or Schedule 1, 2, you know, which is legal drugs, and drugs could be the medication, or something that basically is like anything. Okay, so this is what his quandary was, is that he was stating that I was intoxicated on being with drugs, and I did not show up for show cause. Now, these are all the documentations I was asking him when we was at the court and when he was putting me under contempt, when he, you know, basically was saying some of this, and then he couldn't ratify the documents or give the documents to me. Then he changed it to contempt of court because I was late on court fees. Now, it's a video of this, or it should be one of this. Okay, and this is August the 26th of 2014. Now, as that $25,000 was put on my head, it was for a reason. See, because it stipulated in his documents, which was a second bond that I did not sign, and he sent in with his court addressed in a square, which we know when we square out something, that means it's important. Pay attention to it. When we put a square around a name or something like that, we know that indicates to us another person or a person who know this, that I want you to pay attention to this name, which he put a square around Hazel Park District Court. And then put all these lies down. Show cause, missing, drugs, substance, all this stuff. But he had no documents for it. And I did not do it. So he put a $25,000 bond. Now he told them I had to have the total $25,000 bond. I couldn't do it on secure bond, which is on my word or credentials. I couldn't do it with a secure bond, which is I could get out free on my own recognizance. I couldn't put 5 to 10% down, which is making it $250. No, $2,500, because this was $25,000 on a contempt. $25,000 without any documentation, And the jail actually helped me. And this is what I was requesting to the supervisors of that Oakland County jail is where was the document? Where's the proof that I'm supposed to be in a contempt of court? Where's the proof that whatever charges he has me here on, where is the documents? Now anytime, let me get a little pivot here. Anytime an Oakland County jail actually grant these wishes from a district jail without any evidence, without any documentations, without any paperwork, what do you think that is? Them going by the law? So, let me pivot back to the court. So, with me having a $25,000, not $100,000 bond on my head, I supposed to have been back to the district court about 11, and or we could say I would be facing charges of a bench warrant because I had missed that date. With the district court judge knowing he already incarcerated me in the Oakland County jail. Think that's law? Think that's right? Think that's how the law goes? No, that's not how the law goes. He abused his power. That's what this judge did in the district court. He abused his power. So, to end this conversation at this point, the judge at the circuit court gave me a personal bond of the $25,000. For what? What was I there for? I don't know. They never had the records. They never gave me any documentation. But the judge said to the prosecutor, if you have no reason why she's here on contempt and you can't tell me why she's here, I'm going to give. And before I actually express this is what I said. And that's the reason I know God works in mysterious ways. I said, Your Honor, all you have to do is call the clerk, and they would tell you I put in my papers against the Hazel Park police and court system for false incarceration. And she said, well, I can't, this is the judge, I can't call, I can't read in the middle of the session, I can't call. And I said, oh my God. And I kind of leaned back. I was like, oh my God. And this is when she said, well, Prosecutor Drum, if you have no charges against her, we cannot hold her on contempt if you can't show proof of any charges. So I'm going to give her a personal bond for $25,000. And that's how I got her jail. One day before the district court order had expired for me to be back there. So this was the same day, September 11th. Okay? So I shouldn't say one day, I should say the same day. Because that's when I grabbed the attorney. Once I released from that Oakland County jail, I went straight to an attorney that was downtown in the city of Detroit at the city Cadillac building. And I grabbed an attorney named Green. I will show you the documents. And that day, and I'm supposed to have been back there at 1 o'clock. It's like God works. God works in mysterious ways. And I grabbed that attorney. And we were there about 1 o'clock. He could not put a bench warrant out on me while knowing he had already incarcerated me. Oh, that shocked him. How did you get out? Who let you out? This was the judge's words. Should be on video if they audio everything in the district, 43rd District Court. Who let you out? Who gave you that bond? See, because when he embroidered his court, he was telling the Oakland County Circuit Jail to not let me out before that date, and he was going to put a bench warrant out for my arrest. And I was going to be on a bench one time I came back in court. So now he have a legal purpose to lock me up, even give me more time. You think I'm just sitting here telling you these words? I will show you every documentation. But this is a judge sitting on the 43rd District Court. So I was there at 1 o'clock. He was furious, screaming and hollering why or who let me out. He actually made a phone call to the circuit court and discipline or chastise the circuit court judge for giving me the personal $25,000 bond. You think I'm lying? I could show you the records that I was on a bond for $25,000 without any documentation but a contempt, which didn't have a documentation either because I did not. Although I knew I shouldn't have paid the $31.50, but I paid it anyway because I was going further with this case. I was going to prove that they are a bunch of hicks and liars over there at that 43rd District Court. And people ask me why I'm still mad at this. Someone falsely put you in jail, then put a bond on your head for $25,000 without the recourse of you either paying 10% or a personal secure bond. What are they trying to do? They're trying to lock you up to chastise you that they are in power from retaliation. And although this went in the eyes of the public and it was sent to different departments, nothing was particularly done. So if the judge hadn't came to spiritual consciousness of hearing, oh my God, then I would be still sitting in jail, falsely accused of something I didn't do. And I would have had a bond of, not a bond, but a warrant out for my arrest. Although the judge knew he had incarcerated me in a higher Oakland County jail. Now you know where I am because you incarcerated me there. But then you put a date so I won't make it back on that date so you can put a bench warrant out for me and give me even more charges, which is increasing the record to a felony. If a lot of people don't know that because they already is trying to do a misdemeanor. Really, truly, this is nothing but a citation off the road incident. But if that would have occurred, I would have had a felony. Because he would have tried to pretend like I was incarcerated from the Oakland County Circuit Court instead of the district court, and charged under these charges at a circuit court instead of district court. And if I didn't make it back there during that 11th of September, I would have had a bench warrant on my body or name for an arrest of a warrant of not appearing in front of him when he already knew he sent me on a false contempt to a circuit jail. But he's a judge. And this was done in the public eye. And you're telling us to trust the system? So, I will show you documents Thursday of all what I've said. This is not fake. This is real. I never thought it could happen, especially to me, because I was the type of person that, and I'm not saying I am the type of person that was for justice. I still am, but I know it's injustice in our systems now. And I was the type of person where I never would imagine someone of a law figure, a prominent, supposed to be judge, would put information or do falsified documentations because they knew they can get away with it, or they can abuse their power like that. So my reaction to all of this, I'm glad hasn't put me in a state of mind that actually some people would just snap. Because this is a ordeal that if I went through it, and I was a first time defender, and because I challenged the documentation and the lies, they actually made me out to be this person of incarceration and lies with their documentations. And just imagine if it was somebody that really had a long criminal record, or a record, or didn't understand and think the way I thought. I knew what he was trying to do once he mandatoried that date and stated that I had to be back there by September 11th. And I'm like, how the heck is I going to be back here by September 11th when you incarcerated me for 10 days? Excuse me. And I don't actually get out until the 11th because you incarcerated me for 10 days. So how, and then you got a $25,000 bond on my head. So that means I had to get not 10% of the $25,000. So I actually had to pay these people $25,000 before I got out. Or the 10 days, when I do get out, I would have to get myself from, I believe, 12-mile telegraph without transportation. And you know, I don't know about public transportation out there because I've never taken public transportation out there. But I would have, with no money, I would have to get back to this court by the time, so he will not put a bench warrant out on me, although he sent me there. But it happened. You know why? Because God do not like dirty, despicable, lying individuals. What's in the light, what's in the dark will always come to the light. And I've been saying that through a lot of comments. What's in the dark will always come to the light. He will suffer the consequences. Believe that. Because God will make sure all the dirty deeds that he had done in his life, as a judge, will make him suffer. And I guarantee you that. And that's by God. But I wanted to tell the people what actually took place on him recharging me under contempt, under my gun, when my gun was never charged. So I will be implementing documentations to show this actually happened. And people say, oh, it's no way. It's no, you're just making up this. No. This really happened. And like I said, I wasn't prone or acknowledged on the proceedings at that time. And I was very naive. So, this is Meet Up Speaker. Continue to listen.